So we are looking into the craft room again. You can tell there's a whole lot less hanging on the door. The shoe rack does need to come off, but I don't have a place to put it and it is not trash day. So that'll stay there. On the door handle is a sewing project that has been completed. It's used to hold plastic bags, which I use for trash can. To the right we have a Raskog cart, which is the craft room equivalent of the junk drawer. All the boxes on the bottom in the middle of the cart, they're empty. I don't want to get rid of them, don't know what to use them for, so they're just going to sit on the trolley until I figure out what to do with them. Some might get recovered. And then on the top is miscellaneous sewing stuff that it's not big enough to get a place of its own, but I don't know where else to put it right now, so it's just going to stay there. So in the background you see the futon, which you really couldn't see in the previous video. There is a project sitting on it that says sew, and it has stars, and it's laying on a piece of wood, and everything needs to be attached to the piece of wood, and it needs to be painted various colors, and it will be hung on the door once I remove the shoe rack. You can also actually see the picture that I took, and while I worked for an engineering company, I took this picture and I blew it up on our large format printer. Have a black and white printer, which is fine because I like it in black and white. And then I had this frame, again from a previous job, and the mat on this frame was a mauve color that really didn't go with anything, but the frame was huge and I loved it. So I painted the mat, and I think it looks pretty good. It needs to be hung up above the futon. Here's a different view looking at that wall. As you can see, there is a footstool on the left-hand side that has a tray on top of it, as well as the same trolley that we saw in the previous shot. This is where that large set of shelves was. I've moved that into the basement, and I have all my finished projects in there ready to be sold. This is the dresser. All three drawers are now holding fabric. On the shelves on top of the dresser, those are my small little findings like buttons, hardware to make lanyards and keychains. On the top shelf is all of my extra chopsticks. I plan on making hair accessories out of those. You can see I have a candle burning. It smells really good in the room right now. The hope chest is now cleared off. All of my yarn is now contained in this closet. It holds not only the yarn, but anything crochet or knitting related. There are items for loom knitting. There's a mannequin head that I can model hats on. This bag has my newborn size baby dolls in it, which I'm able to model newborn hats on. The larger boxes are holding yarn, and there are 4 art bin boxes that hold my crochet works in progress. I need to weave the ends on the shawl that I made for work. The hamper on the left-hand side holds stuffing, batting, fusible fleece, and pillow forms. The hamper on the right-hand side holds the fabric that would not fit on the shelves and in the drawers. The large bolts are actually going to a friend who will be visiting this summer. She is a costume designer. I have no use for these home deck fabrics, so she has gladly accepted them. So to the right of the hampers is my Sterilite storage. On top of the Sterilite storage is a 3-shelf bookcase, which is holding fabric, fleece, and sewing items on the bottom shelf. On the very top shelf there are photo storage boxes that actually holds soap making supplies and molds. Don't know why I thought I would get into that, but I did. To the right of that is a larger bookcase that goes all the way to the floor. Top of the bookcase on the right-hand side holds more fabric. On the very top, there's fabric that came from my grandmother's house, as well as some of her shirts, and I do have plans in the works to make stuffed animals for her children and myself and my sister, as well as the rest of the grandchildren if there's enough fabric. To the right of the bookcase there's an IKEA frame. It started off in navy blue, however the theme to this room is black, white, and Tiffany blue, so I painted it. This is the setup I used as my crafting table. I love my old house, but these radiators really get in the way of space planning, so I had to get creative. I have an associate's in interior design that I got right out of high school. Really didn't do anything with it, but I kept my drafting board, which is the flat surface for the table. In the foreground there is a 4-drawer chest. It's a metal chest. I painted it black and I covered it with teal vinyl on the outside. My grandmother's rocking chair is to the left. The covers came from my mother and I recovered them to match the curtains that I had made. On the right hand side there's a laptop cart that I was going to give away. However, I decided it was perfect to put my sewing machine on, so I can just pull the sewing machine out and either sit on the edge and pull it closer to me so I can sew, or if I want to watch TV, I can move it to the front of the futon and I can sew from there. I'm being a little sneaky and I'm hiding my paper trimmers and scoreboard over to the right. And on the left hand side, what looks like a big black blob is a Rubbermaid tote that has a project in it, big fleece project. Unfortunately, I don't have central air in my house, but I do have window air conditioning units, which you probably saw on the floor. It's a little too heavy for me to move every season. So I just leave it in the room and put it in the window when it's needed, take it out when it's not. And I also have this wonderful ceiling fan to keep me cool. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the cleaner version of my craft room.